The air in Seoul was heavy with curiosity that evening. The kind of night where even the neon glow of Gangnam seemed subdued by an undercurrent of tension. It was in Cheongdam-dong, the elite neighborhood where the most private lives of Korea's biggest stars often intersect with the relentless eyes of paparazzi. That the image destined to dominate headlines for weeks was captured. A camera clicked, a shutter flashed. There they were, Lee Jun-ho and Yoona. Their hands linked under the muted yellow light of the street lamps. Stepping out of a luxury residential complex known to house some of Korea's most influential figures. That one photo was enough to ignite a firestorm of speculation, heartbreak, and joy in equal measure. The photograph spread faster than wildfire. Before the early hours of dawn, it had already reached Dispatch's news desk, posted on blogs, retweeted thousands of times, and sent to the phones of millions of fans around the world. The caption was simple, almost innocuous, but filled with implication. Caught at night, Lee Jun-ho and Yoona leaving a Cheongdam-dong apartment holding hands. For many, it was the confirmation of long-held suspicions. For others, it was a betrayal of an image they thought they understood. The industry. It was a nightmare of management, contracts, and public perception. The scene was almost cinematic. Yoona in a long beige coat, her hair tucked beneath a black cap, her face partially shielded by the collar. Jun-ho in a plain hoodie and baseball cap, trying to melt into the shadows, but his figure unmistakable to anyone who had watched him dance on stage or act on screen. Their fingers intertwined in a gesture too intimate to mistake. The tension between secrecy and affection visible even in a blurry photograph. They walked toward a dark sedan parked discreetly by the curb. They could vanish into the night before anyone noticed. But someone had noticed. And the moment was frozen forever. Social media exploded in disbelief and excitement. On Twitter, hashtags shot to the top of global trends. Lee Jun-ho Yoona, caught holding hands. Cheongdam-dong secrets. Fans posted theories, timelines, screenshots of past interviews where subtle glances were exchanged, clips from variety shows where laughter lingered too long. Some fans declared it the romance of the decade, a fairy tale finally confirmed. Others were skeptical, convinced there was more to the story than a simple late-night stroll. And many, perhaps most, latched onto one detail in the news: they hadn't just been seen holding hands. They had allegedly walked out of the same Cheongdam-dong apartment together. This single suggestion, that the two stars might have spent the night together in the same luxury residence, shifted the entire narrative from innocent affection to scandalous cohabitation. Korean entertainment is no stranger to dating rumors. But when the words apartment, night, and together appear in the same sentence, the implication is undeniable. Fans began to draw conclusions, some celebrating their boldness, expressing shock, and a few condemning what they saw as a reckless move. By morning, reporters camped outside the gates of the very building in Cheongdam-dong. Every car that drove in and out was photographed. Tenants scrutinized. The luxury complex, once a fortress of privacy, suddenly became the most watched spot in the city. Neighbors whispered, residents complained, and security guards were forced to double patrols to keep the press at bay. And yet, despite all the frenzy, Jun-ho nor Yoona appeared, as if they had vanished into thin air after the fateful photo. It was only hours later that the statements came. One from JYP Entertainment, Jun-ho's agency, and another from SM Entertainment, Yoona's longtime home. Both were strikingly similar, carefully coordinated, denying the more sensational claims while leaving just enough room for interpretation. JYP's message read, "It is true that Lee Jun-ho and Yoona are close friends who recently met for dinner. However, reports of them leaving an apartment together to spend the night are false. We ask for the public's understanding and refrain from speculative reporting." SM's echoed, Yoona met with Lee Jun-ho and acquaintances on the evening in question. The images circulating do not tell the full context. Respect her privacy and do not spread unfounded rumors. The wording was deliberate. Neither agency denied the hand-holding. Neither attempted to refute the affection visible in the photographs. But both adamantly rejected the claim of leaving an apartment together. It was as if they were drawing a line between acceptable romance and unacceptable scandal, trying to control a narrative already spinning far beyond their grasp. The denials did little to calm the storm. If anything, they fueled it further. Fans dissected the press releases, searching for inconsistencies. Why acknowledge dinner but not clarify whose apartment they had been photographed near? Why emphasize friends when their hands told a different story? Why were both statements released at the same time? As if coordinated behind closed doors? Every unanswered question became another piece of evidence in the court of public opinion. Amid the chaos, whispers began to emerge from within the industry. Anonymous sources claimed the apartment in question belonged not to either star, but to a mutual friend, manager, or even a stylist. Others swore they had seen Junho frequent the building before, suggesting he might have purchased or rented a unit there. No one knew for sure, but the ambiguity was enough to keep the rumor mill alive. For Yoona, the weight of the scandal was heavy. As a member of Girls' Generation, she had built a career on grace, discipline, and the pristine image of Korea's nation's center. For more than a decade, she had been a role model, an actress beloved for her versatility, and a singer adored for her sincerity. Dating rumors had surfaced before, but none with such incriminating photographs. The idea of her leaving an apartment with a man, especially at night, was enough to challenge the carefully maintained narrative of her career. Junho, the timing was equally precarious. Having transitioned successfully from idol to acclaimed actor, and respect in both industries, his recent drama roles had positioned him as a leading man of unmatched charisma. His popularity had never been higher. But with fame came scrutiny, and the image of him sneaking out of a Cheongdam-dong apartment with Yoona risked overshadowing his professional achievements. When the pair finally addressed the issue in person, anticipation was electric. Junho was the first to break his silence during a press conference for his upcoming drama at the Koch's Convention Center in Samgyeong-dong, Seoul. Standing before a crowd of reporters, expression calm but resolute, he chose his words carefully. Many people have been curious and perhaps concerned about the recent photos, he said, bowing respectfully before continuing. And I have been close for many years, and yes, we sometimes meet in private. That evening, simply had dinner together with friends. The photographs captured only a moment, not the full context. I ask that you understand. There is no truth to the rumors about us staying together at an apartment. It is a misunderstanding. The statement was met with a barrage of questions, cameras flashing, journalists pressing for clarity. Was he admitting to dating Yoona? Was he confirming a romantic relationship but denying cohabitation? His words seemed both clear and ambiguous, a tightrope walk between honesty and protection. Yoona followed shortly after with her own remarks during a fan meeting at the SMTOWN Artyom in Gangnam. Facing an audience that had supported her for over 15 years, she struggled to hold back emotion as she addressed the issue. I know the news has surprised many of you, she began, voice steady but soft. Junho is someone I truly care for and respect. Please don't misunderstand. We did not leave an apartment together as some reports claim. That night, we were with others, and the photos were taken from an angle that tells only part of the story. I ask you to trust us, as you always have. Her words were sincere, but to many fans, they raised more questions than answers. I emphasize being with others when the photos clearly showed just the two of them walking hand in hand. Why not directly deny dating if the truth was only friendship? The more they spoke, the more people wondered if the agencies and the stars were attempting damage control rather than offering full transparency. Streets outside SMTOWN were flooded with fans that day, holding banners, chanting messages of support, also debating among themselves. Some fans wiped away tears, believing they were witnessing the collapse of the idol fantasy they had cherished for years. Others smiled knowingly, convinced that love, even between celebrities, was a natural progression. And still, whispered suspicions, convinced the apartment story was closer to the truth than the official denials suggested. The coverage became relentless. Entertainment news cycles replayed the same photographs endlessly, debating every angle, every pixel. Experts were brought on to talk shows to analyze body language, the way Yoona leaned slightly toward Junho, the grip of his fingers around hers. Since they maintained from the camera, tabloids speculated about secret dates, shared vacations, even joint investments. Various newspapers weighed in on the implications for their careers, questioning whether Korea's strict celebrity culture was ready to embrace open relationships among its idols. Behind the scenes, both JYP and SM scrambled to contain the fallout. Contracts with international brands were reviewed, upcoming schedules adjusted. For Yoona, endorsements included luxury fashion houses and cosmetics giants. Even a hint of scandal could risk millions in revenue. For Junho, the stakes were equally high. Roles in high-profile dramas and film projects in the pipeline. Agencies feared not only for the reputations of their artists, but for the financial repercussions of an uncontained scandal. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, something unexpected happened. Instead of diminishing, their popularity surged. Fans around the world, particularly international audiences, stayed behind them, praising their courage and chemistry. "Why should they hide?" became a common refrain among global K-pop communities. In Japan, China, Southeast Asia, and beyond, it was reframed as a romance worth celebrating rather than a scandal to condemn. Still, in Korea, skepticism lingered. Each public appearance by either star was scrutinized, their clothing choices dissected, their social media posts analyzed for hidden messages. They posted a photo of a sunset with a caption, "A moment to remember." Fans immediately wondered if Junho had been with her. When Junho shared a selfie at a cafe, eagle-eyed fans noticed a reflection in the window that looked suspiciously like Yoona's hair. Every gesture, every silence, became fuel for speculation. Months later, the photograph remained etched in memory. The moment that blurred the line between private lives and public personas. Whether or not Junho and Yoona were truly dating, whether they had left that Cheongdam-dong apartment together or not, most became irrelevant. What mattered was the truth fans had long suspected. A truth finally illuminated under the street lamps of a Seoul night, that behind the stage lights and the cameras, stars were human too. Capable of affection, of mistakes, of love. And so the story remained open-ended. Not with a grand confession or a dramatic breakup, but with a simple, undeniable image, two hands holding tightly against the dark, refusing to let go, even when the world was watching.